Schwartz's knowledge and wisdom. We definitely can learn from each other. So, once again, you guys feel free to jump in, especially at the end. If you have input, you want to share your knowledge, your experiences, we love that. So, okay, well, we're about 8 after the hour. So I am going to go ahead and introduce Dr. Schwartz. As you guys know, Dr. Schwartz has been studying frequencies for decades. He has quite the varied background with a degree in chiropractic, biofeedback systems, visionary, published author, basically a musician. and we are here tonight to really learn from him, but I'll once again share as a community. And tonight's presentation, The Scientific Principles of Transformational Technology, is going to be a good one. So hold on to your seats. Dr. Schwartz, would you please join us? And you unmute yourself while you're at it, please.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Amy. And wow, happy to see everybody here on this chat and just on this webinar. My name is Dr. Stephen Schwartz, and just for a bit of context, it doesn't really matter where I am, to be honest with you, because it's 8 o'clock Eastern time. But just to let you know, I'm doing this webinar from Spain. I'm in Ibiza, Spain, and it's 2 a.m. It's 2 a.m. And you know what? I'm feeling good. I am super jazzed up. And I was thinking, oh my God, I need to come back and I need to rest, get ready for this thing. But just to give you a little context of what's going on, why I'm in Ibiza, Spain. First of all, go ahead and put in the chat, who's even been to Ibiza, Spain? Anyway, just go ahead and put a yes or a no. And why I'm excited, we got no, let's see, who else we got? Any other no's or yeses? Nope, not yet, exactly, nope. I love it, yes. None of you guys have been here. Oh, where have you been? Toledo, wherever? I don't even know where that is. Well, listen, outside of Ibiza, Spain, I don't even know. This is amazing. So it's taken me 20 years to get to Ibiza, Spain, and they're really known actually as like a party. It's like the party place, which I wanted to go when I was much, much younger. But now I'm here for work, and I got invited. This is so perfect for this webinar, to a conscious technology symposium. Led by this gentleman named Ven Sherman, who started a nonprofit to bring wisdom, like lost wisdom, to the forefront of these conscious technologies so we can all collaborate with each other, so we can get out to the world. I got invited to be a part. Actually, I live in Tulum, Mexico. Who knows where Tulum, Mexico is? You can go ahead and give me a yes or a no, a thumbs up. All right. And yeah, you know what? Listen, I moved there when the world ended in 2020. I moved to Tulum and got things activated down there. And a gentleman that I met who is this incredible sacred geometry scientist referred me. And I've been traveling extensively, really, for like from December through, I don't even know what month it is, April. And I got invited to go in May, and I said, I can't go. I need to go back to Tulum. I need to ground. I need to unpack my stuff. I need to check in with my team, go to next level. And little did I know that a month later, he was going to be hosting another conscious technology symposium. And I couldn't say no. And I got to tell you guys, I've been out here now for over a week. And for all the reasons that I didn't come to Ibiza a month ago is exactly what's happening now. The people I'm meeting, the doors that are opening, the opportunities that are creating, it's incredible. So just to let you know where I was today, because it's 2 a.m. It's 2 in the morning tomorrow on Thursday for you guys. Where I was from 5 o'clock till 10 o'clock was we're hosting an event called the Cosmic Clinic in the north part of the island. They have all these biohacking things, and we worked with, we did a sauna, we did a cold plunge, and we did a vibe. We did breath work. We did yoga. We did qigong, all that. It's a small group of people, and then I had some dinner, and let's get started. So I got fresh information I want to share with you guys. We'll get started. I do want to know just one thing. How many people in this group own Vibes? Just give me a thumbs up or a thumbs, just put it in the chat. A couple people. How many people don't own Vibes? Just put a yes or a no. So there's a yep, a do not. Okay. Yeah, who doesn't own Vibes? And I think the people that that don't own Vibes, my next question is, why are you on this webinar? What's interesting to you? What questions do you want to answer? What do you want to know? Yeah, not yet from John C. Great. Well, we're here to connect with you. So yeah, just put it okay, you got an opus and you actually got it delivered. That's awesome. That's amazing. Great to hear. So I'm curious what your interest is being on our webinar, but we're going to share a bunch of great information I come across through research, and great. Educating. Oh, you've been educating Lars. Okay, Lars just got 2 Vibes and owns 3 cryotherapy centers in Dallas, Texas. So watch a couple YouTube presentations a couple weeks ago. Great. Liz, I'm happy you're here. We've been doing a lot of outreach through the social media and digital marketing aspects, and I'm happy to see that people are seeing this and getting this information. So I created transformation experiences in a 360 dome. That sounds awesome. Theaters looking for new technologies. Ed, I met you. Didn't I meet you at the Eclipse Festival, right? I think we met at the Eclipse Festival. Yep, awesome. Happy to see you on this webinar. I was just talking about the eclipse tonight, actually, at dinner. So listen, it's 2 a.m. here. It's 8 o'clock there. Why don't we get started with this webinar? I'm going to share my screen. Looking to add an optimization priorities. Great, stem cells. We talk about stem cells. We're going to talk about actually stem cells here tonight. And away we go. So this webinar, we're going to talk about the scientific principles of transformational technology. Now you might be saying, what the heck is transformational technology? And one of the things that I'm always kind of playing around with is, what is bioharmonic technologies? And I always say it's a human optimization company. That's right. It's a company because listen, the Opus sound bed is out there. There's other sound beds that are out there. And you know what? In the lost sea of other sound beds, you got yourself a bed that vibrates and you play music through it. Great. We're another one of those beds. But that's not really what the vibe is all about. In fact, it was never even the intention that I created in the first place. I asked myself a very specific question. I said, how do I clear cellular memory? And how do I optimize human physiology? And through my research, I've discovered what I'm going to share with you today. And the delivery system happens to be a vibrational sound technology because it makes the most sense. But not just because you play frequencies in music in a vibrating bed means that you're going to be able to clear cellular memory and optimize biochemistry. I'm going to share that with you here today. Another thing I want to just bring to your attention is how vibrational resonance can release trauma trapped in our bodies and optimize human performance. Does that sound interesting to people? If so, just give me a thumbs up or a hell yeah or whatever. Okay. So just a little background about myself. My name is Dr. Stephen Schwartz. This is my book that I wrote called Primal Resonance: Discover the Secrets to Health, Vitality, and Optimal Human Performance. I wrote this book in 2014. It came out 2015. I've been in clinical practice reversing chronic degenerative conditions and allergies and autoimmune diseases exclusively using vibrational techniques and technologies since 2000. That's almost 25 years ago. That's amazing. I think it's amazing. And really, when I wrote this book, I also was designing biofeedback systems, and I didn't want to write a biofeedback book, but I wanted to create a handbook that talked about all the fundamental principles for reversing chronic degenerative conditions and optimizing human physiology. So, sorry, these are a little uncomfortable. Little weird things. So I'm the president and founder of Bioharmonic Technologies, which is, like I said, a human optimization program company. We've been making therapeutic music. This was founded as a therapeutic music company in 2007. And it came after eliminating one of my patients' severe cat allergies in his recording studio using Ableton music production software. And I was like, wow, this is a viable, guys, here's the word. I'm going to put it in our chat. The viable delivery system to the nervous system. And guys, I'm a chiropractor. So my whole core foundation is, how do I release interference from the nervous system? And another thing, like I said, I designed the vibe system, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. I've also developed biofeedback systems in the past as well. If you don't know what that is, it's a system that plugs into your body. It scans you for all this information, creates and assesses you, balances you, and corrects you all in one device. Magical stuff. I've developed multiple over the years. I'm a regenerative medicine expert, meaning that we work with chronic illness. But the other side of that equation is, once we get you out of chronic illness, you don't have pain, you don't have allergies, you don't have depression, you don't, okay? Gone. Starting line, ground zero. Where do you go from there? What are you talking about, Dr. Schwartz? That's how we optimize human physiology. I'm a human optimization facilitator, and the vibe is an integral part of that technology. So I want to share with you an excerpt from my book, actually from page 34, from a chapter called Fountain of Youth. And I talk about, now there's a chapter, this is a chapter that comes before this, and it's on hydration. And we're going to talk about hydration a lot because it's vitally important. But right behind having your body fully hydrated, and I see you, Linwood. I see you drinking your water, and don't give it away, but we're going to talk about the special equation that we're going to be talking about in just a few minutes. But this is how we're going to talk about cellular communication. This is an excerpt from my book, and this is what we're going to be talking about for the rest of this webinar. I'm just going to read it. While the principle of optimal cellular communication may be relatively new to you, it is one of the most important to understand and support. The language of the cell is that of vibrational resonance. There is a specific anatomical framework that connects your cells and all of your physiology together. This framework is what allows your cells to communicate easily, effortlessly, constantly, and continuously throughout your lifetime. It is a brilliant system created for efficiency. And this efficiency of this system is actually responsible for chronic disease. Guys, listen to this, because it's being so widespread in our modern world, because cellular communication continually does what it is trained to do over time. It remembers and perpetuates patterns. I go on to say that most patterns are established at a very young age and during embryological development, consequently, depending on what you have been exposed to physically, environmentally, and emotionally over the course of your lifetime, you could be predisposed to either a life of health or a life of illness. Fortunately, because it responds so well to vibration resonance, cellular communication can be reprogrammed. I wrote that in yellow. That's important. Just as patterns can be established based on old negative influences, a new pattern of health and vitality can be created by positive, life-enhancing, vibrational stimuli being programmed into your cells. Now, guys, I wrote this in 2014, and almost 10 years later, I think this more information is more relevant now than even when I wrote it. Now, what I'm talking about here is really, I'm going to write this in the chat. This is a big word. What I'm talking about is how do we create applied sciences? Okay, great. I just wrote this in a book. Eckhart Tolle writes about stuff in the book. Bruce Lipton writes about stuff in the book. But the question I want to ask you is, what is the applied science for not what you're reading, but how do you apply it in your day-to-day life? And how do you make it easy? And so these are epigenetic technologies. And who in the chat has even heard of epigenetics? Give me a yes or no or a thumbs up. Good. Thumbs up, absolutely. Great. We got a good crowd here. You guys come prepared, I see. So just a quick overview about epigenetics. Epi, above, genetics, genes, genetic expression, above epigenetics. This is where we can work with influencing our environment to change the way our genes express themselves. And Bruce Lipton is a famous biologist who kind of coined this phrase, whatever. I saw him in 2004. I know the book was out. So right around the turn of last millennium, Bruce Lipton was working on this. Now epigenetics is well established. And if we look here, epigenetics, things like diet, things like environment, disease exposure, drugs, toxic chemicals, exercise, all these things can come into play. And the cool thing about epigenetics, above genetics, your environment influenced genetics, is how do we most appropriately influence our environment? And Ed, I know you work with domes and you work more in like this. Oh, great. We hosted Bruce Lipton. Amazing. I think I was supposed to be there, to be honest with you, whatever you had going on. But Ed, I know that we're talking about these domes and immersive experiences. It's like an entertainment thing. But when I look at experiences in these domes, with some tweaking of the music, we can have a much higher, profound, physiological, virtual, immersive experience with not just haptic seats, but with specialized haptic programs. And just to keep that in mind as we're just getting started with this webinar. And for the record, if you guys are here interested in more of the, immersive entertainment, that's one thing. I'm going to be giving you a lot of the transformational science, because that's what this webinar is called. And I want to share with you I've been doing this the whole time in Ibiza. Use this equation. This is the equation for transformation. I know you're all muted, but just repeat after me, even though you're muted. Intention plus resonance equals transformation. And what that means is, yes, okay, so a lot of people walk around, don't have any, because remember, what's Bioharmonic Technologies? It's a human optimization company. And a lot of people walk around live in this world with no intention in life. and which is totally fine, but then you wonder why you're not having transformational experiences. Or you might say, you know what? I journal every day and I set intentions every day. Great. But you might not be in resonance with what you're writing or thinking or saying or doing. And that's why the transformation is not happening. So if you are creating anything in your life or are proactive in anything, I do recommend setting your intention, and not just that, but then finding a way to bring yourself into resonance with it. And I want to read you my favorite quote from Einstein that explains exactly why that's so important. Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy, this is physics. Thank you, Albert Einstein. And this is why this fundamental principles of being able to set an intention and then find resonance. Listen, I've been wanting to come to Ibiza for 20 years. I wasn't in resonance to come here. And you know what? I set an intention many years ago that I want to travel around the world with my work, sharing my work. And that's exactly what I'm doing. But it took me 20 years to get in resonance to do that. So this applies to everything, whether you have health issues or emotional relationships, spiritual issues. Let's go deeper. A couple other things I'm going to touch on real quick. We're all familiar. Who's familiar with Dr. Masaru Emoto? He wrote the book Messages in Water, or have ever heard of cymatics? We see where they take kind of a fluid medium and they expose them to different level frequencies, and they create all these simple to complex patterns. The vibe, guys, is a cymatics plate, okay? I want you guys to really get this concept. That plate that you put the sand on and then start either using the bow or start putting a frequency generator through it, that cymatics plate is the vibe. And what is the vibrating liquid? The body, the living connective tissue matrix, the intracellular fluid. And so we can adjust, we can create beautiful water crystals inside of our own body. We can create these mandala-like high frequency exposure, just being exposed to specialized programs that will resonate. And I want you guys to go back next time, go watch another cymatics video. The only times it goes into perfect shape is when it's in harmonic resonance. I want to write that in the chat. What happened to my, here we go. Harmonic resonance. So what that means, I want you guys to all go and watch a cymatics video after this webinar. And you're going to see when it goes from, like, I'm just using this right here on the screen, 3,975 hertz to 444 hertz. There's a transition from 3,975 to 444 where the sand gets all disorganized before it reorganizes. So if you're playing music that's not harmonic to the body, you're not getting these harmonic patterns. The only way that happens is when you're in harmonic resonance. And then I want to share another equation with you. This is a book that I read 20 years ago from this gentleman, James Oshman, who wrote another book called The Scientific Basis of Energy Medicine. I think the 2 a.m. is catching up to me, guys. We're going to keep going. But he talked about a 10% reduction in water reduces in a reduction in cellular physiology by 1 million times. So as we're talking about this vibe being a cymatic plate, we also need to make sure that we are appropriately hydrating. So repeat after me, guys. Hydrate, vibrate, gyrate. This is the equation for longevity, immortality. And the more that I pick this equation apart, the more it's so simple and it's so true. So we need to have optimal hydration. So we then vibrate the body and we create our cells to increase their level of spin, increase their level of gyration. And as long as we do that, we're essentially living forever. So I'm going to talk about the mechanisms of that very soon, just a few minutes. And what is the applied science? This is it. This is why everybody's on the Zoom call for today. This is the buzz. This is why I got invited to be in Ibiza. They say Ibiza out here. And the reason why is because they want to know how I can expand people's consciousness with this technology. And it's this vibes. I mean, everything's a vibe. It's a vibe, you know, but really it's an acronym, and it stands for, repeat after me, vibrational, individualized body enhancement system. And this is designed to do one thing, to bring your body into a very quick parasympathetic response. Parasympathetic response. What that means is rest and repose, rest and digest, rest and regenerate. That's what it means. The opposite of that is fight or flight, or a sympathetic nervous system response. So if your body, whatever modality you're doing, if your body is not in parasympathetic, it is not optimized for human physiology. I mean, it's not optimized for optimal cellular healing. So if you're got, I don't know why this keeps coming to mind, but if you have cancer, if you have an autoimmune disease, if you have depression, if you have anxiety, if you have whatever it's going to be, if your body is not parasympathetic, it's not optimized. And the reality of it is, as soon as your body goes in parasympathetic, you're probably going to feel better anyhow. And this is why the power of sound healing is so widespread and so easy, because anybody can play a crystal bowl or play music through in a harmonic resonance and create some kind of harmonic change in the body that's probably going to improve their health. But there's a deeper level here that I'm going to be talking about that separates bioharmonic technologies from basically everybody else in the industry. So I want to get into this a little quicker. Here's one of my longtime personal quotes that I believe philosophies. It's not a quote, it's a philosophy of mine, is that we are physical manifestations of our own energetic Can you hear me? Okay. To be honest with you, my earbuds kind of hurt. They don't feel good in my ears. So I apologize. We're physical manifestations of our own energetics. We're physical second, energy first. What I invite you to realize is that if that is truly the case, then anything that you do that's physical is upstream. You got to address it at the energetic level, guys. And I want to give you just a couple quick principles, something called the piezoelectric effect, which is what creates our aura. It's what creates our energy field. And essentially what the piezoelectric effect says is that in a living system, cells move around one another and they create an electromagnetic field that surrounds any living system. So really surrounding it like an electron. I was fortunate to spend the last weekend with Nassim Haramein. Who's familiar with Nassim? And actually check it out. I got one of his cool arc crystals. And anyhow, we were talking about the piezoelectric effect, and there you go. So things. And about electrons. And his CEO totally knew the number of electrons. It's like ridiculous amounts. I don't know, 1 million, who knows? There's a lot of electrons, guys. And in a living system, it creates an energetic field that creates our aura. Now, another thing that happens once these electrons start moving, there's something called photonic emission, where a light literally is emitted with energy every time they move from shell to shell. And this is why we are light first and physical second. And the only difference between light and sound is speed. So when we slow down light into sound, we ground ourselves into a three-dimensional construct, which is where we are. And then we slow down sound even further, it slows down into vibration. And this is what Pythagoras was talking about back in the ancient mystery school days. So getting deeper into the anatomy and physiology, we're looking at how water has three fundamental functions. It holds memory, is conductive, and dilutes and detoxifies. So yeah, I'm gonna have a drink of water right now. And so we're 70 to 90% water. And if you look at all the organs here, brain, blood, heart, bones, muscles, liver, kidneys, all these things, once again, it's all mostly water. Now, because we're not just this blob on the ground or in a bucket, we have this exoskeleton that surrounds us, and this exoskeleton is what gives us shape and structure. But what's interesting, not about the structure, but about what this exoskeleton is made up of and why it's so magical. And I'm using that. This is a very advanced medical term that I love using. Magic. And why is this magic? Because the anatomical structures that make up the living connective tissue matrix are microfilaments, microtubules, intermediate tubules. The names are not important, but know that these are the names if you want to Google them, and the definition is going to say that it responds to your environment through vibrational resonance or something to that effect. And if it doesn't, send me a copy of it. I'm curious what it does say. Now, I want you to know that every biological material, every physiological process that exists in the body is initiated through the living connective tissue matrix. And two that we're going to talk about that I highlight in my book is mitosis and signal transduction. Mitosis, how our cells replicate. That's important, right? Or signal transduction, how our cells communicate. And what we see is at the very top of this 7-level structure between just one cell that basically breaks down into 2 cells, it begins with the activation at the receptor sites that control the metabolism of this process. And it's initiated through through microfilaments, microtubules, intermediate tubules. And then signal transduction, like I said, this is the initiation of biochemistry. And if you, it even says it right here, environmental stimulus. It's a receptor site, and it talks about this biochemistry that happens here. But what's important about this receptor site, it's made up of microfilaments, microtubules, intermediate tubules, depending on what this is. And if you have good information coming in from the environment, it's going to create a good positive transduction chemical benefit. If it's bad neurological information, then it's going to create some kind of negative influence on your system. It's kind of easy. I think it's easy. And then this chart is super important. What we're talking about here is ectoderm, mesoderm, endoderm. Don't worry about the sounds, but we all know that when the sperm first fertilizes the egg, we see that the first thing that forms is the brain and the spinal cord, and all those things. That is the ectoderm. And it's more than just the spine or the brain. It's the spine, it's the brain. It's also the cranial nerves, also your peripheral nerves, your enteric nervous system, also autonomic nervous system, and your skin. That's right. Skin is neurological, guys. And this is also why I'm using a full body vibrational sound technology to interact with the skin and the living connective tissue matrix, which is vaginated into the skin. Now, more important, no, I don't want to say more importantly, but basically what gives what the soul to the vibe system are sonic-ceuticals, what I've been playing for what I've been creating since 2007. And we've been doing all kinds of scientific research on this. And I'm a kinesiologist by license. Kinesiologist by license. That means I do muscle testing. I muscle test almost every day of my life, really, for like 20, whatever, 20, almost, yeah, a long time, since 2000. So what I know, though, is that I've been researching frequency since 2007, and I might get like an inspirational hit, but then I'll go in and I will see if I can support that intuitive hit somewhere in nature where it can be reproduced. And all of that information is what comes available on our Vibrafile app. You get a free pro subscription to it. And then these are all the programs, something for clearing negative energy out of your nervous system, space, and being, 12 different emotional relationships, 9 different physical healing relationships like stem cell activation and wound healing, cell cleanser. It's an anti-inflammatory detox, sonic-ceutical spectrum, great for ADD, depression, anxiety, any of these things. And then the journey, 3 different journeys, a tribal jungle journey, and a journey of self-actualization, and a spaceship ride to Pluto. And this is an open app, so we're going to be able to add more content on over the next, rest of this year into next year. Trust me, I've been saying that for a while, but that's what's happening. Another thing I want to share with you, this is a cover from, I know there was an Opus user on here. Go ask the people at Opus, say, can you share with me the components of your therapeutic music? What's in it? And see if they could tell you that there's one. They'll probably say there's 430, it's produced in 432. Maybe they'll say there's 528, something like that. But find out what is in these music. It's probably maybe one frequency, if you're lucky, and might have a strong baseline, but it does not make it therapeutic. You want to know what's in my sonic-ceuticals? Look no further. You can go to our website, go to bioharmonictechnologies.com, go to shop, go to music, and then just look at all of the albums and go into and click on it, and it has a description. Read all of them, and it has components, protocols. Look at this, it has protocols available. But yeah, if you look, we have the phi ratio in there. We have alpha brainwave states, 40 to 68 hertz, specifically in regards to spectrum disorders. And then different solfeggio frequencies, sacred geometry. And then this was actually recorded in 432, which I'm thankful and grateful for, because she was like, I'm not doing anything. So it was not recorded in 432. And then we actually go a step further and have protocols written on it, like who would use this and how to use it. So this was when they were in CDs. Now they're MP3s. So now we just have them digitally on our website. Before I get into the science, I just want to kind of check in. How's everybody feeling? In fact, here, I'm going to take a little, let's see. Everybody good? Give me a thumbs up.
We've had a couple questions, Dr. Schwartz. Just
yeah, why don't we go through it? Let's go through the questions before we get into research.
There was a comment one made about actually the quote with Einstein being attributed to somebody else. Bashar / Daryl Anka, that was the creator or the origin of the quote, everything is energy and that's all there is to it. Don't know if you can speak to that.
I would like to see, I'd like to verify that. I'd like to get, because somebody also told me that they thought it was Bashar at a past webinar. And I'm curious, I want to hear Bashar say that. And it goes with these quotes, where they come from. From what I've seen, listen, I didn't get a recording from Einstein with it, but there's a quote that I found. And I don't know who the other gentleman is, but I can tell you, whether it's Einstein or Dr. Stephen Schwartz, that principle is what I believe, and that principle is what I want to share with you. Is it's not about who said the quote, it's about the concept. And the concept is about interdimensional portals and about how do we disorganize your current dimensional reality so you can reorganize it into a new dimensional reality. And what does it take to do that? Put your body into vibrational resonance. And this whole presentation has been giving you the science behind it. Now I'm going to go in and share with you actually the research that we've done to validate all of this. Now, is there any other questions, Amy?
Yeah, just regarding your last slide, what does Spectrum do for people with autism specifically?
Great question. So this is something that I just want you guys to know. If you're in the market for a vibroacoustic bed, there's a lot of things out there like vibrating beds. But if you're gonna, my question to you is, what are they playing through the vibrating bed? And what I'm sharing with you is, like I said, I've been formulating music. I've been creating protocols for 25 years, okay? Since 2000, reversing conditions. So I have a high understanding of human physiology. And once you know how to create, protocols in any form and are effective, you can just take the same protocols I did like in clinic and then add them into this musical process. And some of this has been kind of a theory, but I wanted to let you know that even though I'm a kinesiologist, muscle reflex tester, I also want to make sure that I'm validating all the frequencies with legitimate information, either in nature or through some other study. And so where I got this autism frequencies is from some research studies that was made specifically for testing vibroacoustics. And that 40 to 68 hertz range was shown to improve autistic disorder, spectrum disorder, symptoms. So as we know, I don't know exactly, I don't recall off the top of my head what's considered to be classified in spectrum disorder, but this is, ADD, autism spectrum. There's a lot. It's getting a little late for me, guys, so I apologize if I'm slightly not as sharp as I normally am. But just know that there's lots of information in regards to this. So I got the autistic spectrum frequencies from well-established vibroacoustic research articles. Is there another part to that question, Amy?
No, but there was one other question regarding any studies on the microvascular structure response. Any studies microvascular structure response?
So we're going to talk about that in just a few minutes. Who asked that question? Who was it?
John J. C.
John. Okay. I'm going to share with you some PubMed studies in just a few minutes that's going to talk about that. Now, what I know about the microvascular system, and guys, this is where anatomy and physiology really comes important. Because I know one thing, if your body goes into parasympathetic, you have to get vasodilation of the capillaries, because that is an effect, hardwired effect of somebody going into parasympathetic. You guys with me? Amy?
Yep, we're here.
Okay. No, I want to know, I think that, can you just repeat that question? Because I think that was...
Yeah, they were just asked about the microvascular.
Yeah. So I believe that that you're going to be getting microvascular correction through putting the body into parasympathetic as an effect of. Any other questions? So
Yes,
let's, oh,
there was one
yeah.
other question is where did you get your doctorate from?
Oh, great. I'm a chiropractor by license, and I attended Northeastern University. I have a doctor in of chiropractic from New York Chiropractic College, and I went to undergrad in sports medicine, and I have a degree in biology and sports medicine, Northeastern University. So that's my formal training in education. Okay, so let me get into some of these studies. First of all, who's familiar with HRV, heart rate variability? Give a thumbs up or a hands up, or go ahead and put it in the chart. But really what we're looking at here with HRV is it is the gold standard, okay, in assessing parasympathetic activity or sympathetic activity, any kind of autonomic nervous system regulation. Autonomic nervous system regulation is assessed through the living connections and through heart rate variability. So we went ahead. Now there's some very complex advanced HRV testing out there. And we actually have one called what's it called? Wow, guys, here's what happens. See, I'm pumped. The adrenaline wears off. It's almost 3 a.m. here, so bear with me. But we have a new HRV system that we've been working with. We actually just did a study with it. So we're going to be updating.
The Heart Quest. The Heart
Oh,
Quest.
HeartQuest. Thank you so much. HeartQuest from Mike Kessler, who is one of the leading doctors in the heart in HRV testing. And his is next level. So we're going to be posting those results very soon. But I want to show you what the HRV that we tested with this young lady. She was 26 years old, and this was a difference between no vibe, 20 minutes vibing, and then a follow-up. And guys, I want to put this in the chat. Okay, this is very important. Same or better? What the heck does that mean, Dr. Schwartz? What I'm saying is I ran a professional clinic for 16 years and saw thousands of patients with chronic degenerative conditions, allergies, and autoimmune diseases. The stuff that nobody could get better, they brought to my clinic, and we got high-level results. And I did it exclusively with vibrational resonant techniques and technologies. So what I want to share with you is people are like, oh, well, why don't you use this supplement? Or why don't you take this IV? Why don't you do like HR? Why don't you do this modality? And I say to myself, is it going to provide the same or better results of what I'm already getting done? And I was kind of coming up with no. So that's why we're using this. And this is what I want to show you is, guys, this woman was 26 years old, did a 20-minute vibe, and then we rescanned her. And her emotional state changed from 49 to 70 in like 30 minutes. This lower picture here, look at these brainwave states. That is called ADD, attention deficit disorder, when you have all your brainwaves like kind of low levelly, manifest out like that. And 30 minutes later, she's in high delta. That is the most ideal brainwave state for healing. I love this one. This was her biological versus chronological age. She's 26. When she did her first scan, she was 29. After 20 minutes of vibing, she went to 23. And then this final slide on the left, I just closed out the comments, is showing the spine in the blue and green versus the orange and yellow. What that is showing is sympathetic nervous system is the orange and red. Orange and yellow. And then how it all shifts to blue and green. This is like textbook autonomic nervous system recalibration. That's what we see there. What I'm most excited about is we are just debuting these. I was trying to debut these at the Transformational Technology Symposium, and we have a bigger, well, these I debuted. And what are you looking at? We met a doctor at a show we did. Was hired by NASA to create a mitochondrial test that you could take. And mitochondria are your cellular batteries. This is what really is a vital indicator for oxidative stress and things like that. And anyhow, this gentleman, we met him at a conference recently, and he was hired by NASA to make this mitochondrial test taken outer space, see how your body is oxidizing. And anyhow, he is now Joe Dispenza's primary researcher, and they have people come in and they do 7 days of Joe Dispenza and see how they changed. So I want to share with you, same or better, guys. So we put together a study of like 5 or 6 people, small study case. We had people vibe once a day, every day for 7 weeks. And we're waiting for those results to come back. And we want to see, is it the same or better than Joe Dispenza? Because if you can do Joe Dispenza's work and it's better, then we can just, you got yourself, you don't need to go to his training. Now, the thing about Joe Dispenza is he's a self-empowerment tool. He's all about do the meditations and you'll be healed. And I totally support that, my fellow chiropractor. What I am going to show you here is a study that we did on myself. This is me. And this oxidative stress was off. And then after 20 minutes, and then this is a blood test, guys. 20 minutes, then we did a blood test, and everything came back in line. And Hummel, the guy who we met, he said he's never seen mitochondria respond so quickly after just 20 minutes. I think that's fascinating. So this is where we're going in this company. And we're also seeing reactive oxidative stress. Mitochondria produces a normal amount of reductive oxidative stress at rest, but if it's too high, then it shows that produce a link to high risk of health issues. Or if it's too low, cells are connected and manage to stress well. So we saw that after just doing a 20-minute vibe, how sensitive the test is. We've noticed significant changes in the way your body is able to process reverse osmosis. Reactive oxidative stress. And then finally, the last piece of data that I wanted to share is about saliva urine. How do we validate biochemistry? How do we validate it? First in, first out. We checked for salts and sugars and proteins, pH. And then we did a 20-minute vibe. Everybody picked what program, what sonic surgical they wanted. And then we did a retest. And we saw profound biological changes across the board. Now, I just gave you a bunch of science. This webinar is almost over. But what's most important to me, guys, is I can give you all the science and give you all the things. But when we get testimonials all the time from people like this, it makes my job a lot more fun and rewarding.
There's no sound.
Hey, Stephen. There is no sound to the video. I don't think he can hear us. Stephen, can you hear us? There's no sound to the video.
What's that?
There was no sound to the video.
I heard it.
Well, maybe because your computer is attached to it.
No,
You
sound.
didn't share your screen with the sound being shared as well as. So if you unshare your screen and then reshare it at the bottom, there's an option to include sound.
Okay, let's watch that again. How do we do it? Share my screen.
Share your screen, select the screen at the bottom. There's a checkbox that says share my computer's sound or something along the lines of that.
Share sound.
Yep.
You gotta be kidding me.
Optimized for video also.
What's that?
There's also two check boxes probably. One says share.
Optimized
computer.
video clip.
Yeah.
Crazy. That's new. I think that's new. I've never done that before.
It's not new.
Well, it's new to me. Because we've done this webinar last month. We didn't have that problem. But wait a second. Don't look at my password, everybody.
Can Amy do it?
No, we got it. All right. Let's try it again. It's a really good video.
I have been going to the emergency room for pain in my back at least once a month.
We're good? We can hear? Yes?
Yeah, we could hear it that time.
Okay, good.
For the last 6 to 8 months. And I'm talking, well, anybody who gets the ambulance to come pick you up, we know what pain's about. And the day I got released out of the emergency room, he brought the bed over 2 o'clock in the morning. And I said, look, I can't even stand. And he goes, we'll put you on the bed. I don't know how to I can't exaggerate this. The next morning, 5 a.m., I got up and I was walking. Like, this is impossible. This does not happen. And I have not had a visit to the emergency room since. Now, the other thing I wanted to say is I have had a total shoulder reverse replacement. And doctors, I'm sure you know what an intense surgery that is.
Yeah.
And 22 months tried to reconstruct it by putting a few tendons back, or like all the tendons in the bicep. Didn't work. So I went in, I had the whole surgery, and I've been getting on this bed. Again, I don't know anything about the bed, really. I just know it's supposed to work. And I talked to my surgeon this morning. It was amazing. He goes, you are way far advanced in your healing. I don't know what you're doing. And I told him about the bed. And, you know, doctors are doctors. And he goes, you should not be able to even lift your arm. And look at this. Woohoo! My arm is up here.
Yes.
I'm not in pain. My doctor was just amazed because he said, I've never seen this in all my years of surgery. You are like 3 months into your healing and it's only been 2.5 weeks. What? So whatever I'm doing it well. I sleep on it. Oh, and my kitty cat loves it too.
Yes.
He's a great cat and he's a barn cat.
I love it.
But I don't know what
That's
this thing is doing, but it's healing my body and I am so grateful. Wow.
Okay. Amazing. Round of applause, everybody. What do you guys think about that? I'd love to, yeah. Any comments about what you just saw? I want to share with you, I mean, listen, this is an extreme case, okay? I'm not going to say but if you go to our YouTube channel and watch the testimonials, we have like 100 testimonials. If you go to our Instagram page, we have unlimited testimonials. Like the same thing happens with everybody that gets on the vibe, guys. And this is the point I'm trying to make. When you put your body into the field of harmonic resonance, only good things are going to happen. And the formulations we're using is why people are getting them. I don't believe that people using other sound beds without these specialized protocols would create that same level of change. And I think what's interesting about this vibroacoustic space is that it's a hot topic right now. I don't think the education really is out there for people to know. Um, uh, for people to really know the difference between them. People look at price and things like that. They're not really educated on like what makes a vibroacoustic bed something different. I mean, at the end of the day, does it vibrate and play music? Yes. So it's a vibroacoustic bed. What are you using it for? What results are you wanting to create in your life? And from there, dude, it's like buying a car. You know, if you want a car, just get you from point A to point B. You want a bed that's going to vibrate. There's lots to choose from. If you're looking for a tool that's designed specifically to clear cellular memory and optimize biochemistry through bioresonance, the list of choices are minuscule. And that's what we're up to in bioharmonic technologies right now. So I want to share with you, somebody asked about studies. And I wanted to share with you, they're talking about the microcirculation. I haven't done extensive research into microcirculation, but I do know that when the body goes into parasympathetic, as an effect of parasympathetic is an increase in microcirculation. That's just established, information. But what I do want to share with you is this vibroacoustic research. And this was an amazing study that was done in National Library of Medicine and PubMed, emissions of biophotons and adjustable sounds by the fascial system. And this is basically saying light release based off of sound and the neurological intracellular matrix. So review and reflections on manual therapy. So this is somebody addressing the fascial system, and the whole article was good. I just kind of picked out some highlights. If you guys are interested in this is the reference for getting your hands on the copy, or you can message Amy or anybody in our facility, and we can give you this research article. But I want to just read a couple of things. From an embryological perspective, the fascial system originates in the mesoderm, although according to some authors, this connective tissue network can be partially found in neural crest in the ectoderm, which particular references the cranial and cervical areas. Interesting enough, like cranial cervical, this is in the parasympathetic regions of the nervous system. But yeah, this validates what we were just talking about the ectoderm. Presence of vibration is able to determine the shape of the cell and its functional capacity by acting directly on the DNA, epigenetics, like we were talking about earlier. The emission of biophotons and the production of sound from the fascial system has a clinical significance. That's exactly what we've been talking about this entire time. Research must make further efforts to create a union between the manual treatment approach and the use of these physical phenomenon with the ultimate aim of improving the patient's health. what this article went on to say is that they really don't know how to apply this information from this research. And I'm like, wow, I do. It's called a vibe. It's called a vibe system. It's called a vibrational individualized body enhancement system. And this is where all of this vibroacoustic research comes together, and we have an applied science to this research, and that is amazing. So let's get into it, guys. I just gave all the science, we gave some research. These are the two vibes. So in the chat, how many people, well, first of all, yeah, how many people in this chat are interested in possibly purchasing a vibe system? Just do a yes, me, no, something like that. Yes. Wait, that's Shannon. Okay. Okay. So yes, we got a couple people here. I'm sure there's some other more on this chat. I'm not even sure how many people are even on this chat, but I want to go through the different models. We have two different models. One is called a 3.1, which is the picture on your left, and then 3.2 picture on the right. And you're like, and what's the difference? 3.1 obviously has a more ergonomic shape. 3.2 is more of a body worker, portable, flat model. 3.1 has 4 technologies in them for optimizing the vibration. The 3.2 has 2. Now remember, we're designing these technology not based off of 4 or 2, but off of how do we get these things as light as possible and as vibey as possible. So we have other technology in that we're going to talk about in just a few minutes. But these are the differences: thicker foam, 4 transducers, bigger amplifier. This one's for two transducers, thinner foam, great for body work. This is what I have here in Ibiza right now. I was going to set it up before this webinar, but I didn't. I didn't see where it's going to fit in. But what's comes standard is these headphones from V-Moda, award-winning, headphones, custom dedicated Lenovo tablet, pro subscription to Vibrafile, custom travel bag. We're the only people in the industry, Vibroacoustic, that has custom travel bags. I don't understand how people get these around. I know the Opus rolls up, but beyond that, how do people move these things around? I don't get it. And then we're the only people in the industry to have these quad fold frames that fit in the front pocket of the Vibe. Also, we have these packages, 3.1, 3.2. If you want to add in light, we have red and infrared light pads. So you want those controllers, you could create custom frequencies from 1 hertz up to 9,999 hertz. Also beyond that, we have these really awesome new light mats. They fit the size of the Vibe perfect. I don't know exact how many diodes, but it's a really cool system, and we're offering that. It's not even on our website yet, but if you are interested in getting a mat, a light mat, then just message Amy, and we'll be good to go. So. Other ways, anybody that's interested in getting a Vibe is like, oh, I don't know how to get a Vibe. I can't afford it right now. Well, we offer financing, Click Lease, Acima, PayPal Credit, Acima. I mean, they're all good projects. If anybody's interested in exploring these, I'm not going to talk about it here tonight. Even if you're international, I think Klarna has different international hubs. And listen, it's nice. They're nice. So I would invite you to explore the possibility of using these financing options if you are looking for bringing a Vibe and might not be able to think you quote unquote can't afford it. We can figure out a way to get you a Vibe. If all it is the price, talk to Amy and we will have a conversation. Now, this is when you would go onto your phone and scan this QR code, and this is going to take you to our page to our store where you could see all the different vibes that we're offering. And all you simply need to do is click on the QR code and then scroll through, find the vibe you like, click on that vibe product, and go ahead. Just, it's like 3 or 4 pushes of your finger, and your order will be complete. And we are offering, oh, before we get there, I want to let you know, if you're like, well, I don't know, it seems like a lot of money, I'm not sure we're gonna make the ROI. It's $6,500. Okay. You can, I mean, that could be a lot of money for some, but I think at the end of the day, this can generate income for you. So at $85 a session, and we recommend doing $100 sessions, in 6 weeks, you're going to have this vibe paid off. We recommend doing, $100 minimum if you want my personal, but anyhow, even working at this, 2 sessions a day, you're making 12,000 in revenue per week. So lots of money to be made with this as an investment, for making money for yourself, for making money for your clientele, whatever it's going to be. We recommend, there's a way that we can work with you. So here's the offer. Vibe 3.1. Who is who's interested in buying a Vibe? We got 3 or 4 people that said they're in that process. Right now, if you scan this QR code, we're offering, I think, $500 off. And yeah, John, this is your time. Go to this QR code, scan it. We have a code. We have, oh, Joni, sorry. I've had them. Okay, cool. I wasn't sure if it was you or me, but we're running a special, $500 off. I think there's, the code is right here, Vibe Webinar. Wait, is it Vibe Webinar or is it here?
I'll post
Yeah.
it in the chat. It's Next Level Vibes.
Okay, Next
post-
Level Vibes. Okay, sorry, we have the wrong code here. But yeah, Amy will post that in there. Literally just check out and you put in that code, you're gonna get $500 off. And you're gonna be vibing in a very short amount of time. We're getting ready to gear up and build a round of vibes. And within a month, by the end of July, we should be ready to be shipping all vibes. So thank you, Amy.
Okay, Dr. Schwartz, we do have a couple questions before you
So-
finish up. Yeah.
So we're just finishing this last slide. And I just want to say, like, this is all of our contact information. If you're interested in reading my book, Primal Resonance, this is my app. This is our app, Vibrafile. I'm in actually 2 movies right now. One's called Beyond Physical Matter, and it's a movie about quantum physics and quantum physics and consciousness. And I'm one of the 16 cast members. So that's going to be available on Amazon in just very, very soon. And then we're also in Biohack Your Health, which is going to be out in December, and making its debut at the A4M conference in Las Vegas. So if you're interested in scheduling an appointment with me or want to know any more information, scan this code and we'll go from there. And I want to thank you guys for, we have one more slide, for joining me on this special webinar. And if you want to follow me on Instagram or Bioharmonic Technologies, just bring out your phone and scan these QRs right now. And thank you so much.
Yes. And Dr. Schwartz, we did have a couple questions. I think Carrie Poppy had a couple, but I believe she has left the webinar. But if anyone wants to come on, unmute yourself. I know that there was one recently, a question about a pacemaker. Dr. Schwartz, if you want to answer that question about the pacemaker. Is it the vibe interact with the pacemaker?
1 second. I think something happened to the recording. So here's the thing. You're just it's like listening to music. Okay, I don't think there's nothing that I can see as being an issue with a pacemaker. I said maybe turn it down a little bit. But from an electrical perspective, especially everything's coming out, it's gonna be low EMF. I think the only issue with pacemakers means you have a heart issue and you're probably gonna heal your heart. Okay. That's off the record information. But yeah, the only contraindication we really have with the vibe is we tell people that are pregnant to turn the vibration way down when you're pregnant, because basically the baby is in amniotic fluid and it's like sonar, so it's like amplified. So I want you to only work with I want you to only work with pregnant women if you turn the vibration way down. But this is a great opportunity for women, because think about your parents. Like, what if you're able to clear cellular memory while in the womb? That's an epic experience. So that's my answer to that. What other questions do you have, Amy?
If anyone wants to unmute themselves, please feel free to go ahead and ask. I think Carrie, who has left the webinar, had most of the questions. So if anybody else has any other questions that I missed, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask now.
Can you read them, Amy?
Let's see here, I'm going to scroll up. Yep, 1 second. Okay, someone was asking which blood test for the mitochondrial testing. Can we give out the specific name for, you mentioned Dr. Hemel, Hemel Patel, but can we give out the specific name for the blood test?
Message us. I don't know if there is a specific name. I know that it's a mitochondrial test from Hemel Patel. So they created it. We have access to that test. And if they're interested, they can just message Amy and we'll figure it out. But I don't actually have like that information to share like right here, right now. We'd have to send it to you.
Okay. Yeah, and then I think Carrie, who hopped off, she was saying, you mentioned the guy that we met at this conference. Had he ever seen your results before? What was his job? Who was he?
I'm just trying to think. Who did I meet at the conference?
We're talking about Hemel Patel with the mitochondrial testing.
Oh, okay. So they want to know. So he was there promoting his mitochondrial tests. And but like I said, he's the official, he got hired by NASA to create these mitochondrial tests. And so then he's been working with Joe Dispenza doing these week-long tests. So we're waiting on another, 5 to 7 tests that we ordered. Actually, how many? That's not true. Yeah, 20 tests of people before and afters. So we're waiting to see how they correlate after a week of vibing. And so yeah, I don't have the exact test, but Amy, we can dig it up at another time.
Yeah, it might be Versea, but I know that's I think the parent company, but I can get that information later. Also, Carrie asked earlier regarding you're showing your HRV testing on the spine, the effects of the vibe on the spine after 20 minutes. She said, could this be the effect of lying down and lengthening the spine?
I mean, when you do maybe. I don't think that the test, actually, I'm going to say no, and I'll tell you exactly why. Because it's an algorithm. It's not based off of direct pressure. It's based off of basically doing an EKG and then having deeper level software programs to give it. So it has nothing to do with like laying on your back.
So the positive results weren't the effect of laying on the back and lengthening the spine is what she's referring to.
No.
Okay. Also, her other second question was, did you compare this to someone lying down in a vibrating bed without your audio tech as a control?
What was the audio tech part?
Yeah. Did you compare this, once again, referring to your testing of the vibe on the spine, did you compare this to someone lying down in a vibrating bed, such as the vibe, without your audio tech as a control?
So here's what I could tell you. We've done lots of testing. Is it foolproof with all of the variables? No. Are we working on those things now? Yes. If you want my personal opinion about testing, it works. It works all the time. It works consistent. People say stuff. They don't even know what's in the music. I know, and they're like, "Oh, do you know what's in this music?" Blah, and they have this experience. So I think because the world really wants testing, we're doing testing, but I know what this does and I know how it operates, how it works. So the interesting thing is we try to put together like a more organized um, test, which we did with the mitochondrial testing and HRV. But then when we look at it, there's all these other variables that, we didn't accommodate for either. So I just feel like when you're doing research, nobody lives like that. So I think even when you have all these controlled, when you control all of this, all the parameters for any testing, I don't think that that's a natural way of testing because we have parameters. People eat, people go out, people are stressed. They have these different aspects. So that's my answer to that question.
Gotcha. Also, do you retest after an hour? So instead of just testing immediately afterwards, have you ever tested after an hour?
Yes. And it's good stuff, but here's the thing, HRV fluctuates. It's dynamic, but it's also established as the gold standard of parasympathetic monitoring. So this is what we're using, the gold standard, to see how it works. And there's other telltale signs within the diagnostics to show if you're finding artifacts.
Okay, I'm looking, so see if there's any more questions. If there's anybody else, might be helping me screenshot it.
If anybody wants to unmute themselves, I'm curious about Ed, if he's still here with us.
Ed is still here with us.
I see Ed, I'm staring at his picture, but I'm curious if he would unmute himself. And I'm curious, good to see you. I'm curious
Hey.
what your 2 cents are on this webinar that you sat so patiently through, which I really appreciate. What did you learn? What did you wish you learned? What was your feedback? And how does that apply to any of the projects that you're thinking of?
Oh, sure. Well, I guess I'm pretty well studied in this space, so there's not a lot of new information for me. The test results were interesting, but what I'm really fascinated by is the technique
Mhm.
for producing that audio. And the experiences we're creating are designed to evoke very powerful positive brain states. So they're not just pure entertainment, but it's functioned horse into and branded as entertainment,
Yeah.
right? People come and they experience, and then they go, "Oh, wow, what was that?" And we're giving them lots of contemplative space. We're not like just spoon feeding them a story. It's not about grabbing your emotions, which most entertainment is all about that, because it's the low hanging fruit of entertainment. It's like, the cliffhanger, oh, is he going to fall? So, but with immersive media, you can evoke brain states like awe and wonder, and you can like get people into deep contemplative kind of states of consciousness that you can't really do that with film or television. So but the idea of combining it with some of your technique, and actually as the experience goes on, I mean, there's going to be an arc to it, right? There's like for instance, Mesmerica, that show, there's a very low, very meditative portion of the show, and we bring you in, then we pull you out. And I think it would that there's probably programming techniques that would complement that journey that we're taking people on.
Well, yeah. And, these are things we're looking to next level all of our musical programs We want to work with people that, can create really high quality, because I do have techniques, and I'm still amazed in this space, especially now in the world of frequency music, that I think more people aren't doing what I'm doing. I'm surprised. That being said, we're getting exceptional results, and there's something about the brain, and you know that I think is interesting, because I look at it as full nervous system, and that's where the haptics really come in, because there is something about the brain. But what about the other 90% of the ectodermal tissues? And that's where you can take people in and take them out quickly by creating the access point through through the skin. And Dr. Alfred Tomatis, he's been known as the father of sound healing. He was like a French medical doctor, and he talked about the skin being the third ear. And there's a whole different frequency range that works with the skin versus what you're hearing. And I think this is what's really being missed, because they're very profound ranges that can utilize different physiological effects, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, it's like cetaceans, dolphins, whales, whatever.
Mm,
They sense with their entire, with their skin. That's how they sense, right? And yeah, and I'm sure that's largely latent in humans, but can be evoked, So
exactly.
yeah, and that's what we call a multi-sensory immersive media. So okay, so we have surround visuals, we have surround sound, but then there's other senses, right? There's aroma and especially touch. And I think touch is what they call haptics is really, really powerful.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Well, we'd
and
love to.
when I
We'd love.
experienced live, I noticed you were not just piping the music into the vibroacoustic channel,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, there's other things going on. Well, I'm glad you were attending. I hope that if there's anything we could do to support each other in a collaboration, let me know.
Rock and
That'd be
roll.
amazing. And yeah, it'd be exciting times. Any other
Absolutely.
questions? So what do you think? I think you should get a vibe and put it in your home and start doing some testing. And then that's the first aspects of getting this started. And you know what? At the end of the day, this is another thing too. People buy these things, they're like, they justify it for work. Oh, like I can do this with my work. Just buy the freaking vibe and just
Yeah,
use it
yeah,
and
we're
love it.
looking at opening an innovation lab in LA, so that
Oh,
would
really?
be one of the purchases. Yeah.
Cool. I mean, what part of LA?
Oh, I live in Silver Lake. We're looking at maybe downtown near the LA State Historic Park.
Oh, cool.
There's a big warehouse there, but might end up in Topanga. Because
If
there's a
that's
beautiful there
yeah, I mean,
that's
I guess it depends on access, what you're really, what you're going for, right? But I tell you, I have my office in LA, and I'd love to have some other fundamental involvement with some projects going on in LA. I mean, I'm in Tulum, everything's great in Tulum, but LA is definitely a hub, and we'd love to get some things more involved there. We have a lot of things happening in the SoCal, San Diego, Orange County, LA area, so even up into Santa Barbara. So
sounds great.
yeah,
We'll
it'd
have
be
to
great.
I'll have to come by with a headset and show you some of our content.
Please, please, please. All right,
Very cool.
well, send me a message or reach out to Amy, and we'll get connected. What other questions do you guys have? Anyone? I'm curious about Maria Cortez. Maria Cortez. Are you a Vibe owner? That's what I thought. You just purchased a Vibe, right?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Cool. Well, I'm happy that you made it onto this webinar. And what was the biggest thing you learned?
About everything is interesting, but the importance of the water and about the memory cell, how you know that scientifically,
Mhm.
and I have the vibes over here, and I am having results, so I'm very happy. I'm proud of my purchase, and I really recommend 100%. So everything what you said about the revenue is true, because I'm not even a month or 2 months I'm making money.
Great.
So I am seeing changes in myself. So that's the most important. And the clients, it's amazing what I'm seeing on the clients, and the people are referring more people because they are having the transformations in themselves. So I'm seeing that in, in the clients, and you are confirming, you providing more information, because in your, it's interesting, reinforcing the knowledge that you have over here. And it was great to see, to listen to you, and I'm pretty excited about this.
Well, thank you. We want to make sure that anybody that gets their vibes, they're happy with it. Just as a good place. Anybody that's still interested in purchasing a vibe, there's an owner's chat that's associated with this. We do these monthly webinars. We have an affiliate program. Lots of good ways of getting involved with this company, as much or as little as you want. But really, we're just focus centered, and I'm happy to see that you're getting great results. You're making money with it, and you're raising the vibration of the planet and harmonizing humanity. Great. Okay. If there's no more questions, what I do recommend is following up with Amy. Anybody that's ready to purchase a vibe, we're going to keep that special going. Let's see.
Yes,
Cool.
if anyone's interested, or they have more questions that haven't been answered tonight, I'll post a link in just a moment to book a discovery call with me. And it'll let you to choose from the calendar. But if you have any more questions that you need, any support that you need, financing, etc., questions about the affiliate program or the vibe itself, please feel free to reach out, book a discovery call with me, or if you have my cell phone number, feel free to text that as well.
That sounds great. Okay. Well, then we're going to jump. It is 3:40 a.m. here in Ibiza, Spain. And listen, I had a couple of glitches along this path here. Not gonna lie, feeling kind of tired, ready to go to sleep. But I'm happy that we were able to pull this off. I really just would like to acknowledge my team. I want to take a moment and acknowledge my team. There's a lot going on behind the scenes with this company. We're manufacturing new vibes. We have brand new transducers. Oh, anyhow, people that are still on here, who's still on that's interested in purchasing a vibe right now? Let me just let you guys know. We have these brand new transducers, high definition. We got new wiring system, low or no EMF. We have these aluminum plates that are lightweight and super vibey, optimizing the vibration. It's amazing. That's what we're building. We're innovating in this technology, and everybody that orders a vibe is going to be getting that technology available now. And probably by the end of July, we're going to be done with this next round, and we're going to be able to begin to ship them out. So I recommend placing your order and getting in the queue so we can start shipping, and we can start keeping this ball going. So thank you so much. And yes, we will be sharing this the copy, the rebroadcast, to all the people that attended. So thank you so much. My name is Dr. Steven Schwartz. They call me Dr. Vibe. And I'm with Amy, and we got Nick and Lee, and we have a bunch of other people that are not on this call that really help keep this company rolling. And we're doing it for all of you. So thank you for vibing with all of us, and I will see you soon.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.